You have to understand, the field of battle has changed. Information, well, that's not the high ground anymore. It's just a commodity available to literally everyone. The only sustainable advantage, the only true weapon left, is how quickly and efficiently you can learn, adapt, and actually apply knowledge.
Welcome to the Mindset Vault. For too long, you've been living on autopilot. Look, we're not here to give you simple hacks. We're here to help you architect a completely new operating system from the ground up, because the one you've been running is obsolete. It is time to take back the controls.
So consider this our one disclaimer. We're giving you the map, but you have to walk the path. Just staring at the map is not going to get you to your destination, only action will. A blueprint is completely useless without a builder, and that builder has to be you.
So here's our blueprint for this session. We're going to move through 4 critical stages. First, we'll deconstruct the learning trap, that flawed foundation we were all handed. Then we will build what we call the 3C engine, the core mechanism for true mastery. After that, we'll unlock the master key, which is the ultimate leverage point in this whole system. And finally, we'll lay out the execution plan, turning all this theory into a daily protocol. Let's begin.
First things first, we have to identify the real enemy. And it's not ignorance. It's the illusion of knowledge. This is the great illusion. It's this subtle trap that's been laid for us by a system that taught us to prioritize just passively consuming information over actually actively comprehending it.
To really get the trap, we first have to understand the hardware we're all working with. The human brain. I mean, it is an absolute engineering marvel. It's the most complex object in the known universe, and yet it weighs a mere 3 pounds.
But don't let that small size fool you. That little 3-pound organ is incredibly expensive to run. It consumes a staggering 20% of your body's total fuel. Every single thought, every memory, every little calculation, it all comes at a high energy cost. Now, this is a critical design principle you have to grasp. Your brain is biologically hardwired to avoid wasting energy.
And this right here, this is the fundamental design flaw in how we're all taught to learn. We're told to cram. We treat our prefrontal cortex, the CEO of our brain, like it's some kind of infinite hard drive. But it's not. It's a very small, very finite bowl, and what happens when you overload it? The overflow is just lost forever. This is the great lie of the information age, that learning is about volume. You know the drill. More books, more podcasts, more courses. But this strategy has a nearly 100% failure rate. And why is that? It's because we treat our brains like they're modern computers, capable of parallel processing. They're not. Our brains are serial processors. They are designed to focus deeply on one solid idea at a time. So when we try to force this parallel processing by multitasking and just overloading on information, the system doesn't speed up, it crashes. The cost of this illusion is immense. Wasted time, wasted energy, and that nagging feeling that you're just never learning enough.
Now, the second lie is even more insidious. We've been conditioned to believe that if learning feels difficult, if there's friction, we must be failing. We see that struggle as a signal to just stop. But the truth is the precise opposite. Researchers at Carnegie Mellon University confirmed this. They found that students who were forced to grapple with difficult material, to really struggle to find the answer, they learned twice as much as those who were just given an easier path. This is known as the generation effect. See, the harder your brain has to work to generate a solution, the deeper and stronger those neural pathways become. Let this sink in for a second. Friction isn't a bug in your learning system. Friction is the system. Struggle is the forge.
Okay, we've just deconstructed the 2 great illusions that hold most people captive. If you are finding value in this breakdown, hit the like button. It helps us spread this signal to more people who need to wake up.
All right, now that we've cleared away the rubble of that old flawed system, we can begin to build. This is the mechanism for true mastery. We call it the 3C engine, and this is going to be the powerhouse of your growth.
Compress, compile, and consolidate. These are the 3 cylinders of the engine. Each step actually feeds the next, creating this self-reinforcing cycle of rapid, durable learning. When all 3 are firing together, that's when we achieve escape velocity.
So, the first cylinder in our engine is to compress. This is the art of turning raw, chaotic data into elegant, powerful patterns. Now, to understand this, we've got to look at a master of the craft, Magnus Carlsen, who is arguably the greatest chess player in history. When a novice looks at a chessboard, they see 32 individual pieces. But when Carlsen looks at that same board, he's seeing something entirely different. He isn't calculating millions of individual moves. His mind doesn't work that way. No humans does.
Instead, he sees patterns. Cognitive science estimates that grandmasters have compressed over 50,000 strategic patterns into their long-term memory, and they have to. Research shows our working memory can only juggle about 4 independent concepts at any one time. Compression is the only way to get around this limitation. It's about turning a dozen scattered bricks into one solid foundational stone.
So how do we actually do this? Well, the compression process has 3 steps. First is ruthless selection. This is the 80-20 rule in action. In any book, any lecture, any course, you have to isolate the vital few concepts that deliver 80% of the value. Second, association. New knowledge can't just exist in a vacuum. You have to consciously connect it to your existing mental lattice work. You have to actively ask yourself, what does this remind me of? Where have I seen this pattern before? And finally, chunking. This is where you forge those associated ideas into one solid conceptual unit. A simple diagram, a powerful metaphor, a single phrase that contains the entire idea. Now, compression isn't enough. You can have the most elegant blueprint in the world, but it's worthless until you build something. Compilation is the process of turning theory into reality. And a powerful cautionary tale for this is the story of Kim Peek, the real-life inspiration for the movie Rain Man.
Kim Peek was a savant with a truly staggering memory. He had reportedly memorized word for word over 12,000 books. His brain was an archive of just unimaginable scale. He could recall any fact, any date, with perfect precision.
But here's the tragedy. Despite all that immense knowledge, Kim struggled to navigate the simple realities of daily life. He couldn't master basic social cues or simple chores. His story is the ultimate proof that just hoarding information is not learning. Compiling is the bridge between knowing and doing.
The key to compiling is to abandon that broken study-then-test model. Instead, you have to adopt a rapid learn-test loop. You learn a tiny piece of the skill, and then you immediately test it in the real world. We use 3 primary tools for this loop. The first is the slow burn. Practice the skill at a painfully slow pace, focusing on perfecting every single micro-movement. The second is immersion. You have to leave the safety of the training ground and enter the real arena. Stop practicing your speech in the mirror, go give it to a real audience. And the final and most powerful tool is to teach to learn. The ultimate test of your understanding is your ability to explain it clearly to someone else. If you can't teach it, you don't truly know it.
So, we've compressed the information, we've compiled it into a skill, but there is one final component. And this isn't just another step, this is the leverage point that the entire structure rests on. It is the master key that unlocks permanent retention.
Think about it for a second. In our modern world that's just obsessed with hustle, what's the one resource we are taught to see as a weakness, as a total waste of time?
The answer is consolidation, and it's powered by the single most misunderstood force in human performance, rest. We have to reframe our entire understanding of learning. It's not a single event, it's a 2-stage process. Stage 1 is focus. This is the intense period of effort where you send a direct request to your brain, hey, rewire yourself, build this new capability. But, and this is the master key, the actual construction, the physical forging of new neural connections does not happen during the work. It happens during stage 2, rest. It's in those moments when you think you're doing nothing that your brain is actually doing everything.
To use this key, we have to manage rest on 3 different scales. First, you've got the micro scale. In the middle of an intense learning session, deliberately just pause for 10 seconds. Neuroscience shows that in this brief window, your brain internally replays what you just did at up to 20 times the speed. You're literally getting free mental reps. Next, the Mezzo, or medium scale. Our brains operate on a natural 90-minute cycle of focus called the Ultradian Rhythm. After 90 minutes of deep work, you must take a 20-minute break. And this should be a period of non-sleep, deep rest. No phones, no emails. A quiet walk, or just sitting in silence. Finally, the macro scale. This is non-negotiable, a full night of quality sleep. This is when your brain does its most critical consolidation, moving skills from fragile short-term memory to robust long-term storage. You can't plow a field every single day and expect it to stay fertile. The soil has to rest, and so does your mind.
A blueprint is useless without a builder. So it's time to move from theory to execution. We're now going to apply the 3C engine to 3 critical arenas of life, providing a clear protocol for each: your health, your career, and your mindset. First up, your physical vessel. The constant noise of health and fitness trends, it's all designed to confuse you. We're going to use this protocol to cut right through it. Okay, first, compress. Choose one proven nutritional protocol.
paleo, keto, whatever it is, and just ruthlessly ignore all the other noise. That's your 80-20 focus. Second, compile. Don't just read about it. Go buy the food, cook the meals, track the macros. Then teach the principles to someone else to really lock in your own understanding. And finally, consolidate. The gym is what tears muscle down. Sleep is what builds it back stronger. Make 8 hours of quality sleep the non-negotiable foundation of your physical transformation.
Second, the professional arena. The goal here is not to learn everything, but to acquire the skills that give you maximum leverage.
So, first, compress. Analyze your role and identify the single leverage skill that would have a massive, disproportionate impact on your results. Make that your sole focus. Second, compile. Immediately apply that skill to a small, low-stakes project. Then, solidify your knowledge by teaching the fundamentals to a junior team member. And third, consolidate. Deliberately schedule unplugged walks into your day. It's in this unstructured downtime that your brain will connect the dots and generate those strategic insights that lead to real career breakthroughs. And finally, and maybe most importantly, your internal architecture. Your mindset is the operating system that runs every other protocol. Let's make it resilient.
First, compress. Stop sampling dozens of self-help philosophies. Choose one robust operating system, like Stoicism, and go deep. Read the primary source texts. Ignore the rest of the noise. Second, compile. This cannot be some academic exercise. You have to start a daily journaling practice. More importantly, when you face a real-world challenge, you deliberately apply the principles you've studied. And finally, consolidate. Practice intentional silence or meditation. This is the sacred space where philosophy moves from just an idea in your head to a truth that's embodied in your actions. This is where wisdom really takes root.
We're building more than just an archive here. We are building a mastermind. Join our free WhatsApp community, the link is in the description, to exchange high-level ideas with others on the same path. Subscribe to the Vault and join the journey.
So we'll leave you with this, a diagnostic question. I want you to reflect on your own process. When you're faced with a new challenge, what's your first instinct? Is it to seek out more data, to open another tab, buy another book, or is it to wrestle with the information you already have, to force a connection, to generate a solution from within?
There's no judgment here, only diagnosis. Be honest with yourself and with us. Leave your answer in the comments below. We will be watching.